Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to Fallout New Vegas. It says episode 49, which really means we've probably done about 100 hours, probably more. So, last episode it crashed again. The game is consistent in its crashiness and about nothing else. Vault 11 felt so much better than any other vault we've done, any other action we've done, and noticeably, it's just because even though there was still some reading that I skipped past and didn't even care about, there was voice recordings, which aren't really used at all in the game. Um, there's maybe 6 in the rest of the game that I've seen, spread across the entirety of the map. It has a video, which there's no video in this game at all otherwise, which all of this really just screams that New Vegas probably didn't have enough of a budget or didn't have enough of a focus to have those elements that would bring it to be more tolerable for people who don't want to just read their entire lore. But it also just had more of an interesting story. Effectively, Vault 11 was this social experiment in voting people through a process of ostracization to their deaths. So somebody got to be the leader of Vault 11, the overseer, for 1 year, it seems, and then they were executed by robots. Which, with the Roman themes, that was somewhat of a concept. They didn't kill the leader after they had been elected, but they, I believe, banished them so that no one leader would become too powerful, or at least that was the concept. So I kind of wonder if this wasn't just DLC, but weirdly, if it was DLC, then the entire quest has just disappeared. It not completed, because the last one we completed was House Always Wins 6, and then there would have been some kind of quest here. So yeah, I don't know if I maybe accidentally just ruined DLC. Like, can we see DLC? Not without going back to the main menu. I think that may have just been DLC. Now, as far as the main game, we're going to this El Dorado station, so we should start walking there. It's also worth pointing out that I was incredibly overburdened and walking this way, and I fast traveled back to the presidential suite at Lucky 38 and dropped off all the items, and then just fast traveled back to this location to be consistently in the same place. The vault absolutely was a distraction. Other distractions worth mentioning is that it's been a few days since I last played, so might be a little rusty. I definitely feel like they probably overdid it with having some of these piles and places where ants will attack if you leave the main road. Like, I think that concept, he's like shooting just way over there.
Can't run from me.
And with this modded refiller, I can almost hold the trigger down, and it will just slightly slow down once you fill it out completely, but as soon as you stop shooting, it goes back up. But yeah, it definitely feels like either because I'm playing on very easy or because they decided to put just all the ants in one location without having any random ants anywhere else. It's creating a weird situation. Yeah, we're gonna... What are our options on this? We're gonna install an override module to put in to let Mr. House have the power needed. See, these are NCR troops. These may just be traveling.
No money. Stay out of the control room and enclosure or there's gonna be trouble. Got it?
Monorail access to the strip? Where am I supposed to take my leave? Free side? Hello?
So even though I have a very high level of relationship with the NCR is going to be upset with us if we go into the substation. One would assume it's kind of weird to have a marked up closed door here when you can come in on the other side. That seems like if you were approaching this building from this side, you would just assume you cannot enter at all. So it feels like you either choose a side here and kill House prematurely, which it seems like the game really wants you to do that, but that also seems like that would just ruin your chances. Or we could sneak in here. Now there is another option. If I happen to have the cattle prod on me, which is a big if. Like, why in the world would you have that on you? I could stealth in here and knock out anybody, but yeah, unless I can simply sneak in here. So what are my stats? It's worth asking as far as stealth. Sneak is at 85.
Whoa. No! Hey!
It's also, I guess, worth pointing out that if I was going to cattle prod them, I would have to have put all of my companions somewhere else. And I imagine Boone is not super happy with the idea of killing NCR troopers. On the other hand, if I was siding with the Legion, then that would have been a problem. Speaking of problems, I'm gonna have to pause and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So you sneak in here and there's just a whole bunch of people here. Right now we are trespassing, so I can't even pull up the wait screen to see what time it is. So I guess there's probably a clock somewhere in this screen, but where would there be a clock to tell you what time it is? Because that was my only other thought, is that possibly you would have a scenario where the time might affect things. So here we have some of that sexism angle, which they really have done a fairly poor job of focusing in on. And Here we have something. We saw this a couple of times in Fallout 3 too. It was very much not used well enough. And then boarded off door here. So it's not like there's two doors that you could sneak in from. And losing karma. I mean, you can do it certainly, but it's not really worth it. I definitely feel like it also should be a case where the more valuable items should be out and about, and the garbage items should be more inside boxes. This whole Poseidon energy element as here, let's turn on the flashlight so we can actually see. Like, this is like all the posters. Poseidon energy not really playing a big role apparently, as all I've understood about that is that there may have been some espionage happening at Poseidon energy, and that very well may be from one storyline of one quest we haven't even done yet. But yeah, theoretically, the thing you would have done is you would have snuck in here and activated the terminal and lost some relationship with the NCR. And maybe the idea here is, as you continue down the path of the house always wins quest, you ruin your relationship for the NCR. Yep. So we've put in the override chip, and now we're just going to report back to Mr. House. There's nothing else to really do here. Those guys over there seem to be non-hostile, despite the fact that my relationship with the NCR seems to be worse now. That has filled in a kind of gap, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was something right about here too, but if it's not going to tell me to go in those directions, why bother? And we can just fast travel, so we're not even going to engage with the others. So I guess the question is, let's think about this. What is the best way to leave our companions behind? I imagine the best way is to simply travel to the presidential suite and then travel from the presidential suite to the penthouse. In the meantime, since we're here, without thinking about anything too much, I will just drop items into this box to deal with later. That is, I think, the move to do. That'll get my weight down to 56. And that's nice and easy compared to doing anything else. Still haven't found that last snow globe. I don't think you have to find the snow globes before anything happens here with House. Now, it's worth making a safety save and just again reevaluating as we're approaching the end of the game here that we may just trigger a fail condition turning in this quest for this one. See, no, Happy Trails Expedition is way up in the north, and yet the animated video we saw also said Happy Trails for Vault 11. So I wonder if Vault 11 was just added extra on top of the Happy Trails Expedition DLC section. I'm also concerned here about this triggering and a fail condition there, but we really just don't know.
As you can see, Vegas is humming along. I've tested my C3I broadcasting arrays. Everything is in order. And just in time, as it turns out, the forces of Caesar's Legion are on the march, establishing a staging area east of the dam. Their assault could begin at any moment, so that's where you'll be heading, if you're ready. Hoover Dam.
So let's ask what the goal is.
Your objective is to reach a control room halfway across the dam and install an override module similar to the one you used at the substation. The override will enable me to control the entire dam's power output. You may remember how the bunker at the fort was rather dimly lit. Well, just like the Lucky 38, it needs a big jolt of electricity to power up. You've already uploaded the new operating system to the Securitrons. All they need is power, and they'll be in fighting trim. Even now, on the brink of battle, imagine two snarling dogs fighting over a curve of bone. Perhaps the rib of their master long dead. It'll be a pitched battle, that's a certainty. Perhaps the greatest battle the Earth has seen since the human race nearly made itself extinct. The Legion will mount a ferocious and determined frontal assault from the east. That much is certain. Still, Caesar is a capable strategist. I'd be surprised if he hasn't found some way to infiltrate the dam or the NCR's rear areas. As I've said, your objective is to install an override module in the control room halfway across the dam. Are you ready to perform this task?
So I'm gonna just say, I'm ready, let's finish this.
We've accomplished a great deal, you and I. One last task and our work is complete. I'll see you in the control room.
You're committing the fight for Mr. House at the Battle of Hoover Dam will determine the fate of New Vegas for decades to come. If there's anything you want to do before you enter the battle, do it now before you cross the point of no return. See, and this is a great example of something that I needed to see warnings like this early in the game, or the game needed to tell me it's going to pop up a warning later in the game before this late point in gameplay. So I'm not ready yet. Okay. The house always wins 8 quest. So we've got to inherently fail this quest to do this quest. Which the way to do that is to go over here. And we don't have any backup here on any of this. And these guys have been programmed even better. We can activate the terminal without causing any problems. But as soon as we open this, it's going to cause a problem. And so just come over here and activate this terminal. And yeah, I just don't see a way, unless your stealth is at 100, that you're gonna get through that without things just shooting at you. Now we are going through a control room. We've got blood all over ourselves. And so here we have a cryogenically frozen mummy corpse. From the looks of it, it may be alive or may not be alive. Let's talk to House. You can't, but they are telling you that that is House. So we'll try and disconnect him and disarm him in the most humane way, but that may just be simply a case of killing him. Unseal the LS chamber. Warning, microbial infection risk. Proceed. So this is Mr. House. It's just been cryogenically sealed.
Why have you done this?
This is a unique character.
So much good undone.
Let's see. It's just business. I don't like you. NCR asked me to get rid of you. By Caesar's command, you will die. Yes, man needs you out of the way. I suppose, video game wise, I'm just getting XP and trying to pick the best thing. I'm gonna go with I don't like you.
Fool! To let personalities derail future of mankind. Stupid!
So it looks like he has a whole hole in his stomach. And so we have three options here. You won't be able to control anything, but I'll let you live.
No! Don't disable Cerebro! I'd rather be killed. Just kill me.
So, how do we disable this? Well, he requested being killed, so someone this old, I suspect we can.
I have nothing to say to you.
I mean, if there ever was a case for euthanasia, it would be somebody who's hooked themselves up to a computer and lived far too long. It gave me 550 XP, and then the quest, the house has gone bust. Alright, well, then let's not kill him, because it seems like that's going to be a issue. Okay. We've had a stealth boy for a while. Let's see if a stealth boy can really work here. Interesting, you can pickpocket these robots. And there's just more computers over here. And so there's kind of obviously another computer over here, which I'm not sure what this security override does. So this will give us another option. So I guess we need to keep him alive because he's going to potentially give us more quests. And I suppose the game should have held me backwards to see this whole animation instead of just skipping forward.
Why? Your vanity project doomed to fail. No!
Alright. So Stealth Boy works. Stealth Boys are just 8 items though, so it's just gonna wear off. So now we have a quest, the house has gone bust. Being added. You can't see even your Pip-Boy, that seems like ridiculousness. So I feel like I finished that quest. I didn't fail it this time. Okay. And I'm just waiting for the Stealth Boy to wear off.
Goodbye.
I think these guys are more than happy to do nothing now. Alright. So yeah, these guys are overridden. The penthouse is now secure. The only other question, I suppose, I think these are really just statue decorations. This bed, obviously, wouldn't have been used by a house in centuries. Only other question, I guess, would have been
Have a nice day.
Jane. Which we may have lost Jane as a character. She may have just disappeared. Which maybe means I would struggle to install the last snow globe if I find it, which worst case scenario I would just look up a walkthrough. Right, and then we'll come down here and we'll
What's up?
tell these two to follow us
We should
again.
get to the Hoover Dam. I've got your back.
Now we still are in a position where we can't just do yes man. Like it would be nice if we could just stay on the strip, talk to yes man, and install him.
Thanks again for helping with Mr. House's data network. Come see me at the old Mormon fort if you get a chance.
Yep. She still has not moved. Vault 21 still doesn't seem like it connected to anything there. Maybe later. But yeah, if you work any further within yes man, the NCR will no longer accept your help. So, and for the Republic Part 2, seems like it might be a fairly low number quest. It would be nice, certainly, if there was a different menu here of branching faction sections, and it showed that there was 8 equal quests. So I failed this one. I finished this one. But yeah, if there was 8 quests for Caesar, if there were 8 quests for the NCR, all of that would have been nice to know. My concern is that as soon as I get here, A, the game will crash. That's not really that big of a concern. My concern, though, is that the battle for the Mojave will start. The battle at Hoover Dam will just automatically start because I'm there, even though the game warned me and gave me chances to not start the battle for Hoover Dam. Inherently, I still feel like, let's see if there's, yeah, there's not even one here labeled Happy Trails. There's only Dead Money, Honest Hearts, and Old World Blues, and Lonesome Road. So Lonesome Road must be the DLC at the north part of the map. Anyways, what I was saying is, it feels very much like you still should side with the NCR, because the thought is that the NCR is just this bigger government, and it would make a lot of sense to not try and have a smaller government in what is effectively just New Vegas. The Mojave Desert is really just New Vegas.
Hello.
Whereas the New California Republic probably is a lot more people. And I'm making a lot of assumptions there, certainly, but yeah. Plus there's just like a real democracy there. Whereas I feel like Yes Man is just going to be an experiment in me being the autocrat and being in charge. NCR arguably is not as smart as they should be, because they're not trying to gain the power of the... This is interesting how this is stacked. Somebody probably spent way too much time doing that. They're not trying to gain the power of the Securitrons, which Yes Man could help them with. In a certain level, Mr. House, as an autocrat, seems to be.
Patrolling.
Can't believe that President Kimball was attacked. Just relieved nothing bad happened to him.
Like, siding with him wouldn't have been the worst choice. I'm down to 20,000 caps. So I think it would be hard to justify purchasing anything, but now, because of one of the perks I have, definitely makes a lot of sense to pick up the free items. And if anything, I want to use these grenades to make progress there. And I just jumped. I just dropped everything. So there's really no way here that I could possibly have anything worth selling. I could try to sell these overcharge packs, but I actually want to keep those bullets because I would like to start using energy weapons.
Pleasure doing business with you.
So
bye.
Well, I could have gotten 2,000 caps and a bunch of bullets. In the end, I'm not going to. That's fine. We'll wander around here. And I guess we're looking for the Colonel, who is walking around. Remember, we're also trying to complete quests for Boone so that he would finish his companion quests. I did get an achievement. Basically, I think it's called the Gang's All here, where I accomplished collecting all the companions. So the game does at least do you the favor of telling you you found all the companions in the game. This was where the safe room key was. We now know what the safe room key did, so we'll just go ahead and take that and lose a little karma if we find the safe room. That would be interesting. Meanwhile, Colonel, I think, is just wandering around. She seems to spend a lot of time here.
Report. Is Mr. House still a threat?
Let's see. House won't be a problem. He's been disconnected. Do we really have any questions?
Okay. No. Is he still a threat? But he's still alive? I'll have to remember to send someone to follow up on that later. Anyway, at least he's out of the picture for the time being. You might be happy to know that your efforts haven't gone unnoticed either. The brass have been throwing around the idea of having the president visit the dam for a while now, to rally the troops and boost morale and such. With our recent achievements, they finally...
So this has already happened.
But while it's being planned, I have one last mission for you. Several years ago, we managed to wrest the Helios 1 solar power station from the Brotherhood of Steel chapter local to this
We've
area.
already done this too, so we're going to just finish a bunch of these quests.
The Brotherhood since. Most people assume the Brotherhood is scattered and not a threat. Recently, we've had scouts go missing in an area west of Helios, and I'm concerned that the Brotherhood is involved. I want you to find them, and once you do, finish them for good. Any questions?
So, we are just going to finish everything. So, storyline-wise, the Brotherhood pretty much is going to get eliminated regardless of which faction you go with. It would be, I suppose, possible that you could just side with the Brotherhood, but they're so weak in this area, I don't think they've written a story path for that.
Oh, that's a relief. A Brotherhood attack while we're busy with the Legion would be catastrophic. The situation being what it is, we can't afford to lose.
So we're just going to get a bunch of XP finishing quests really quick.
We've got more important matters to attend to. The President is due to arrive soon, and we're sure the Legion won't waste such an opportunity. I want you to assist the security detail we've prepared for the President. His safety is critical to maintaining the
ridiculously poorly programmed.
Go up to the Visitor Center and speak to Ranger Grant. He's in charge of security during the President's visit. Dismissed.
So, are we doing the presidential visit again?
Is the President safe? This is...
Okay. This is weird, I would say. Very weird. Seems like we are doing the presidential visit a second time.
Hey.
I have no idea where the safe house is. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the control room we were going to put the override in. Wouldn't be surprised if Yes Man has us for the control a override chip on the Hoover Dam too. So I'm fairly confused as to what's really going on or how this is really going to play out. Like, I can't just jump down here. I'm pretty sure there's a way out of here other than just the elevator. Yeah, it's just a door here. So weirdly, I think this is the exact same quest, so I think we would just play it the same way. I don't know how to play it any differently. So storyline wise, I guess the idea here is that this is just going to be Kimball visiting a second time after, which that's not completely unrealistic. I suppose that something would happen, you'd pull the president out, and then he would be back under tighter security. Let's see. Controls don't show any tampering. Guess that's something else we could have looked for.
Nelson's back in our hands. Hope we can defend it this time.
Alright, Ranger Grant is running this way. Which I wonder if that was supposed to be a case where he would have already been there, but I just wasn't close enough to him for his AI to move. Can't wait in this location. I wonder if I can't do anything in this location.
Hello? Our guys put the monorail back to work.
Can't wait in this location. What quest are we on? Talk to Ranger Grant about protecting Kimball during his visit. I can't talk to Ranger Grant. He would have been standing here originally.
Shouldn't have messed with our great army.
We could go downward to the power plant, and we could, suppose, investigate the power plant more. Try and stay away from the offices.
Always good to see a friendly.
Nothing to be said there. Can't wait in this location. I think what we may find is that I'm going to have to maybe load in or load out. Yeah, like reload into the game. That way I can trigger talking to the guy and re-trigger this whole system. There's entire sections here that obviously I just haven't seen, and I'm not sure the game is ever actually going to need me to look. I'll take some karma to take Sunset Sarsaparillas, because we're still looking for the caps. And our science is high enough, so if we could find a terminal that we could interact with, this may have also been where you put the override chip. But yeah, if we could find a terminal we could interact with, and get all of the generators spinning. That might be cool. Here. Water will knock you down in an interesting animation. This is another opportunity, I suppose, to find the burned man's body. If it is anywhere around here. Can't just walk up to these sections. Of course, there'd be a potential real danger of turning on generators at the wrong time, because generators have to be in phase with each other, otherwise they'll fight. In this case, that would mean they would all have to spin at the same speed, roughly, or pretty accurately. They have to spin at the same speed, and they have to be at a point where the wave of electricity, which goes up and down, the peaks, the highest point of the wave, and the valleys of the wave have to line up. If they don't line up, then one generator will pull down the voltage of another generator, reducing the efficiency. And so you have to be in phase, is what it's called. Of course, there's no point in worrying about that in a video game. It's either going to be a very binary yes-no situation as far as whether you can turn on generators or not. Of course, overcurrent and over wattage could also be an issue if the generator is just making a ton of power and nobody is really using it. That creates, in the real world, some weird situations where you'll have one power station actively slowing down the amount of power they're producing to balance it out with other power stations. Wouldn't say that is really the best way that they probably should be doing things, but it is how they do it sometimes. Oliver's compound requires key. Interesting. Well, we have found something. But unfortunately, it's just the same problem you see with many points in this game, where if you're not on a quest, if you're not being told to go to a specific location, then you are wasting your time. I definitely feel like I am here wasting my time. These are the tops of the generator. It definitely feels like these are just stairs downward, aren't they? It definitely feels like they are somewhat toying with you, or by showing you pointless items, or perhaps they are trying to educate you as a player of some real world geography. Okay, it says I should be going to Hoover Dam lower level. Apparently that is the only way out of here, because everything else is Oliver's compound. And this is three. So we've never been here before. It is very empty, which definitely makes me wonder about like what kind of conflict would you have in rooms like this? These big empty rooms. And we've never been to this corner, at least, of the map, so we'll just kind of walk over here in the corner and see how much of the map gets revealed because of that. You need the map revealed more than you actually need to have been to locations. Depending on your level of OCD collectible, too. I mean, it is possible that there might be a book or something in this corner. But we've already found the Hoover Dam snow globe, so I know it's highly unlikely that there would be another snow globe in this section. And any other item is going to be generic enough that it's just not going to really matter. We definitely have been in Power Plant 1. Power Plant 2 apparently requires a key at the moment. That might be scripted. I'm not sure the doors stay open in this area. They probably do, but not 100% certain on it.
I hear we straightened up a band of thugs in Freeze.
Alright. So my hope is that everything kind of would be fixed now. My suspicion is that nothing has been fixed.
Our guys
And there
put the
was
monorail back
a
to work.
character named Ben who did waste some time. So it is at least daylight at this point. But I can't talk to this guy. No tampering on the controls. Ranger Grant is here. And nobody else is here. So going on the platform this time reveals nothing.
Morning. With Mr. House dead and gone, Vegas can finally join the NCR.
So it seems like they are gonna just kill Mr. House. At a certain level, I suppose one of the reasons why you can't really side with House is House's use of compromised morals is just a little too high, in the sense that he was totally fine working with the Omertas and the cannibals, and
Patrolling
like,
the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
at least for a temporary time he was okay with that. He was probably going to kill them at some level, but
I actually got to see the president.
yeah. Wonder if we could fast travel and maybe that would solve something. Right. We will make a save and we will load the save and we'll see if that maybe can reset some things. If we have nothing else we can do. The game is effectively glitched. Let's see if we can fast travel to Boulder City. No. So all I can do is just like walk this way. And I feel like eventually I'll just walk far enough that I'll be out of the realm of interaction. Yep. And then we can skip forward in time, which means we can also skip fast travel. Stupidly though, because this is glitched, I may have to just kill the ranger to trigger something else. Yeah. Well, at least he's not here. So that does something for us. No, it's even worse now. He's not here. And the cursor is pointing me right to that spot. Every time I skip forward, it's going to save. Skip forward 6 hour chunks. And I suspect that there's just no timer on this at all. Like, I imagine we could stand here and wait for 48 hours and the action just won't trigger. And he might be in the ground. That might be part of the problem. Or maybe the cursor is wrong.
Hey.
And he's actually back over here. We're quickly running out of options. I'm probably going to end up having to just assume that I'm going to fail a lot of the other quests and install Yes Man. It definitely feels like this is still just part of part 2. Right, the only other thought is load this save once again. Okay. So as far as that quest goes, now what? I've just convinced everybody to be aggro with me, which might give us some fun where we can throw some grenades and blow up people that really I don't need to blow up. That's wasteful in a case where I may not really be even hitting them with the grenades before my companions are killing them. My compass says there's one bad guy or hostile person. These guys are easy to kill. And this, I guess, would be a great example of what would happen if you were this side of the Caesar. That you would just have ended up going down this whole path.
What have you done?
Ending up with a lot of armor that you could then
I don't want any trouble, okay?
yeah. But none of that seems like that's moving the story forward. My small hope here was that if I took this path, maybe I would find something else out. Apparently there's a scenic overlook somewhere over here, which I guess that's kind of a scenic overlook. But yeah, you can definitely see how this section here is very rocky. I don't see how you would reach those areas if you were trying to hunt down a sniper that was up here. And if I was going to try and kill the president, I would probably think this howitzer could be packed with something to explode. And I assume the wanton carnage would just keep going, so you go in here and it's just going to be hostiles, and it would just be a massacre. This is a great example of where throwing a grenade would be ideal. And this is probably a good example of where having the game on very easy allows you to play and experiment with these ideas much more than if you were. Here's a tin can grenade. Let's see how that explodes. More of a frag grenade. Nowhere as good as these grenades. Apparently I lost some karma while killing all the NCR troopers, which noticeably I'm not losing karma. This is a great way to highlight the problems with grenades, in that you really need them to stay in one place. If they start moving, you're gonna miss them. Grenades are far too valuable to do all of this. It's a waste. Only 50 XP for killing that heavy trooper. Lots of stim packs needed. It's definitely a situation where a lot of players here would not have that many stim packs on them that they could play this way. And I'm sure Boone wouldn't be happy with that too. Then you just immediately become incredibly over encumbered, picking up weapons, none of which are going to be that important. So yeah, at some point maybe it would make sense to run around and play as the bad guy and just kill everyone you see. What's interesting is I'm taking everything from these NCR troops, and instead of being in underwear, they are still in regular armor, which does highlight how unhelpful that system is because of the fact that it's not 100% consistent. So that's like 500 pounds of things, and no amount of fixing and combining is gonna get that down completely. Also might be a case I'm still in battle, so Boone may just never wake up. So consider that all to be a hallucination. A dream, a simulation. I feel like if you're gonna make a game like this in the same style in modern times, having a simulation, having save states, having the ability to rewind time should just be written into the storyline as a concept. Oh, I didn't actually. You know what we could do? Is just exit the game completely. Like, this will be the equivalent of the game crashing, and just relaunch it and just see if it gives us one more chance to talk to the guy. Because ideally I'd like to move the story forward. Unfortunately, it seems like the game is glitched so badly now that I cannot play the game I want to play the way I want to play it. And the launcher is not launching. Interesting. Well, what to do now? Guess we'll click cancel and try again. Enable to sync. Cloud stop. Status unable to sync. Click to try again. Up to date. So Steam was uploading the save files, I guess, to their server, which is a nice feature that Steam does, particularly considering how huge all the save files for all your games could really be. But yeah, if this doesn't fix it, the game is just so broken that I can't play the way I want to play, and we're gonna have to side with Lucky Man due to a glitch. Yep. Hold down A, tapping A, giving it every chance. Can't do it. We could talk to Boone, maybe?
What is it? A part of my... If you want.
You go, tell me about your wife.
Carla's dead. Yeah.
So did I need to talk about the wife?
What is it?
Possibly.
A part of... Yeah.
Okay. My last thought would be to just walk far enough away. I would think that the quest would end once you'd walked far enough away that the audio would stop playing. But we'll walk to Bitter Springs or Boulder City, whichever is the closest city following this road. And we'll see if that triggers anything. Oh. And if it doesn't, then yes, the game is so incredibly glitched. I'm gonna have to just side with Yes Man and lose the favor of the NCR, and then have completely lost the favor of everybody. And I don't see a way of getting around this either. Like, I don't think I could go back and side with House. But I may have to do that. Also, we'll walk to the gate of Boulder here. Let's see if we can load in and load out of there. That's not really going to do anything. If it was going to say you failed, it would have said I failed a long time ago. These Dust Devils never playing any role, really, in the game. The city not really having more than that one single quest and some things you can find. Okay, so that did nothing. Now, the big danger here is we side with Yes Man, and then, or we even go back to a previous save and we side with House, and then there's just that next question, certainly, as to whether we'll see the Hoover Dam battle happen or not. It obviously was a little too easy for me, personally, to end up working with Yes Man and doing all the quests that Yes Man was giving me, which I now recognize were going to be the exact same quests that I would have gotten for other people. So the game really needs a walkthrough or something. Even in your first playthrough, you kind of need a walkthrough to play each side against each other and make sure both Caesar and the NCR and House and Yes Man are all asking you to do the same things. And then, since all of them are going to ask you to take out the Brotherhood of Steel, then you probably need to do all the Brotherhood of Steel quests first.
Oh, hi again. Can I help you with something else?
Let's see. Let's see.
Oh, he wanted to kill Mr. House and use the platinum chip to copy my neurocomputational matrix onto the Lucky 38's mainframe. That would give me control over all of Mr. House's defenses, most prominently his Securitrons. And then I guess I just do as I'm told. I was programmed to be helpful and answer any questions I was asked. I guess nobody bothered to restrict who I answer questions for. That was probably pretty dumb, huh?
Let's see.
You already took care of Mr. House? Wow, you work fast. Mr. House is out of the picture and you have the platinum chip? Wonderful.
I do actually have the
Let's
platinum
go.
chip. So, yeah, they gave me a specific item that is just a platinum chip in my miscellaneous section. I also was given that Mark of Caesar as an actual item, a necklace, so Caesar wouldn't be mad at me for that brief time in the middle of the game when he was between where I got him mad at me and when I then was somewhat friendly with him and then I got him mad at me again. This is not where I was going. Penthouse. Then we have another fade out cutscene.
Hi! This is big, huh? A very big moment. Here goes. I'll just take that platinum chip off your hands. Thanks. Wish me luck.
One would assume this could be a trap, but from the looks of it, it doesn't seem like it is.
Wow, Mr. House had quite a setup here. I can access his databanks and view telemetry on every Securitron on the network. Every Securitron on the network has been upgraded. Pretty neat, huh? The Securitrons at the fort are on standby. I see a status log here confirming that the Mark II OS upgrade installed correctly. They'll be all set to go once we boost my transmitting power and bring them online with the network. But we'll worry about that later. See you around.
So, here we have an empty yes man. It would be interesting, I guess, if the Securitrons themselves became yes man and would just say yes to any request anybody else had. But I don't think it's really going to play out that way. Yeah. So, what is our next quest now? These are all DLC things. We could see if we can drink Sunset Sarsaparillas at the moment. And see if we can get the last 3 remaining blue bottle caps. Get to 50. If I needed more than 50, I would be really upset. Nope, I'm still missing 2. So I guess we're just gonna have to talk to Yes Man because there's no other quest here. And there's no way to actively fail a quest.
You did a super job wrapping things up, and I'm not just saying that because I have to. Don't you love seeing the Lucky 38 all lit up? Sign of things to come. Exciting news! The Legion's massing troops in a staging area east of the dam. Attack imminent! Monster of the East ready to roll!
Okay.
Sure. Nope.
So we'll just make a safety save, I guess. And I guess we're doing the Battle of Hoover Dam. I would still lean to wanting to finish this quest. And wanting to side with the NCR. But the game has forced me to be my own autocrat here through Yes Man.
President Kimball survived his visit to Hoover Dam. Nice one. Now, moving on. Come back later. Are you ready to head for the dam? Great. So I've been looking over Mr. House's force projections and running some calculations. It turns out there are 2 ways we can win this thing. Hear that? We have options. You could route the dam's power output to the facility under Fortification Hill. That'll restart its reactor, just like you did with the Lucky 38. That'll wake up the Securitron army you left on standby and give us enough force to push the Legion and the NCR straight out of the Mojave. The other option is destroy the dam's generators. Without those, it's just a big bunch of concrete. The NCR won't have any reason to stick around. You don't have to decide yet. For now, all you have to do is take this override module and install it on the terminal in the power control room. Good luck. See you at the dam.
So, same general quest idea.
You must get to the control room and install the override chip.
Apparently we're taking a Securitron with us. And that means Eddie is gone.
You must get to the control room and install the override chip.
Just don't think Boone was there. Oh, and I totally screwed up there because that would have been when I should have had the other guy with me. Is it worth doing any of that? Alright, well, it's not going to change too much here. Again, we still can't talk to this guy. Okay. We've probably failed. I don't think we can fast travel to North Vegas yet. Nope, we gotta walk a little bit further. The Strip North Gate of New Vegas. I would imagine it's right after you cross this section that you can fast travel. There are other companions too that we still haven't really gotten their full companion quest done. So it does seem like, just due to poor planning or unluckiness, that I am gonna just miss out on a decent amount of content. And that certainly highlights a problem where this is a very old school mentality of a video game in which they are more than happy to make you play the game 2 or 3 times to see all the content, and
being on patrol. That's
just the kind of not respecting the player's time mentality that does not fly in 2024, where sure, you might miss out on a few things in an open world role-playing game like this, but you shouldn't be able to miss the vast majority of one of the 3 factions quests and the
what is it?
Last half of
I'll make my way there.
Okay, so we just miss him, and we're doing this.
Trying to destroy my knees even faster than nature.
Yep. This guy's quest we haven't, companion quest we haven't done either. We did all of Cass's quests, looking for the doctor's quest to finish, and so we want him
What's
to
up?
follow along with us.
There's something about that. Well,
So he should be our companion.
I need to talk to you about something, if you have a
There
minute.
we go. Sure.
Any day now? Caesar's going to try to march across Hoover Dam and kick NCR out of the Mojave. We're getting caught up in something important out here. Hell, after how you handled Benny, you're practically right in the middle of all this. I know I'm just along for the ride, but it's made me think about the past and how I might be able to help out. I wasn't always with the followers, or with the NCR. My late father was an officer in a group called the Enclave, a remnant of America's pre-war government. Memories being short around here, not a whole lot of people remember them. But they did bad things. Terrorized communities, kidnapped people. Eventually someone stopped them. I was born a few years later at a military base on the coast, a place called Navarro. A lot of different places. I only know what I was told. Some of them were cut down by the NCR and the Brotherhood. Some of them went east.
So this is the
My mother
actual
never told me
Enclave
what happened
story.
to my father, but she and I went south with some others and integrated into the NCR. When the NCR learned that Enclave personnel had integrated, we kept moving to the fringes. It's one of the reasons why I wound up out here. After the Enclave's command structure fell apart, it was only a matter of time before Navarro was overrun by NCR forces. My mother and I left with some of the troopers from my father's old unit, the same people I've kept in contact with over the years. Anyone who didn't get out was killed by the NCR. Even some of the ones who escaped were eventually hunted down by the Brotherhood of Steel.
I kind of get the feeling that the Enclave may have some direct connection to Vault-Tec, but maybe not. There are definitely things that were implied in the Amazon Prime Fallout TV show that change how you might interpret some of the canon here. None of it seems like it's that important, though. I know other people are upset that the show changed the canon, but I don't see the canon being that sacrosanct.
The Enclave did a lot of bad things, but there were good people at Navarro. Good people with a lot of experience. Not many of them are alive anymore, but I think they can make a difference in the fight against Caesar. That's a hard question to answer. I know I don't want the Legion to take Hoover Dam. So militarily, yes, I want them to help NCR. If possible, I'd like to figure out a way to help the NCR win Hoover Dam without holding New Vegas. Great. I'd like you to talk to the old-timers, the remnants. I don't think I could convince them by myself. To them, I'm still a kid. But you're a big part of what's happening out here. When you talk to them, they'll understand how important this all is. I've kept in contact with them over the years, so I know where you can find them. But I doubt they'll open up to you unless I come along. I know I'm not always the most serious guy around, but this means a lot to me. Thanks.
Okay. So, this lets us do a quest that I think we can do something cool with. I'm pretty sure there was an Enclave item, a mask that we had found, but it's not starting with the letter E. It must be starting with the letter R for remnants. So I want to grab that too. Where is it? This is the only slightly helpful case of having the ability. Like, slightly helpful ability to organize things in that case. Okay. So that gives me an opportunity to do something different, and maybe that could unglitch the game and we could maybe come back and finish this quest later. We don't have to finish this. It also tells me that we probably should talk to some of the other characters and make sure there aren't any quests there. But yeah, we will just fast travel to every location we can fast travel to, and then this will probably be a fairly quick quest, at least at the front of it. It does give us something else to do. So that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Thanks.